The story took place in a city where order had broken down. A man who had seen countless battles was assigned to protect a young girl. Creasy rubbed two bricks together beside Pita, creating sharp sounds. He always carried a handgun at his waist, hinting at his background. He was extremely sensitive to gunshots. So he trained Pita to stay alert at all times. The moment she heard a sound, she had to react instantly and dive. Creasy was not Pita's father, but later, he went after everyone involved for her, including her biological father. Pita and her family lived in Mexico. In that place, kidnappings were almost routine. Her father, Samuel, was a businessman, which made her a target. A lawyer warned him that if he wanted to renew his kidnapping insurance, he had to hire a bodyguard for his child, and if a kidnapping still happened with a bodyguard present, the payout could go up to $10 million. Through a referral, Rayburn thought of his old friend, Creasy. Creasy had once been a special forces operative, known for handling tough missions. He didn't take the job for the money, he did it as a favor. Pita's family treated him well, especially Pita, who often tried to talk to him. His job was simple: take her to school and bring her back safely every day. Pita was very perceptive. She could tell something was off about Creasy, though she kept trying to talk to him and close the distance, but Creasy kept things strictly professional. It was just a job. His past missions had taken a toll on him. After retiring, he drank heavily, and his condition declined. One day, he even tried to end his own life, but the gun didn't fire. He called Rayburn. Rayburn simply said, "The bullet doesn't lie." Creasy said nothing more, but he understood the shot never went off. From that point on, he began taking the job seriously. He noticed that Pita always struggled at the start of her swim races. He trained her to react to loud sounds. He also helped her with homework. Gradually, their relationship began to change. One competition, Pita followed his training, reacted perfectly to the start, and won first place. She ran over and hugged him. The principal said, "A man can love a child like his own." Creasy let his guard down. They celebrated together afterward. Pita gave him a small charm as a gift. From then on, protecting her became personal for Creasy, but things quickly took a turn. Pita's father forced her to take piano lessons. Creasy handled the drop-offs and pickups. He stayed alert outside the house. From experience, he knew this was the perfect setup for a kidnapping, and soon enough, something felt off. A police car looked suspicious. The officers nearby acted strangely. Another vehicle had followed them before. Creasy immediately went on alert. When Pita walked out, he pulled his gun right away. A shootout broke out. Creasy managed to take down several corrupt officers, but he was shot and went down. Creasy was no longer able to move. He could only watch as she was taken. Afterward, the corrupt officers flipped the story. They framed Creasy as the kidnapper and accused him of attacking police. Pita's parents had no choice but to accept the situation. The lawyer suggested following procedure and preparing ransom through the insurance company. At that point, a man claiming to lead an anti-kidnapping unit stepped in and took over the case. Meanwhile, Rayburn visited Creasy. He also met with an FBI official. The official knew the police were corrupt. He also knew Creasy was innocent. To keep him safe, Rayburn moved him to a secure location. Soon after, the kidnappers called. They demanded $10 million. 2 bags were prepared, $5 million each. Following instructions, Samuel delivered the money himself, but during the exchange, gunfire suddenly broke out. Someone else stepped in and took the money. The kidnappers called again, saying they got nothing and lost one of their own. They immediately called off the deal. The mother grabbed the phone and begged them to let Pita go, but it didn't change anything. Later, Rayburn told Creasy what had happened. When Creasy heard that Pita had been killed, he completely broke down. The FBI asked him to identify the corrupt officers. He had seen them clearly, but he said he didn't recognize anyone because he planned to handle it himself before fully recovering. He left the hospital. He returned to the scene and started piecing everything together. That's when a reporter named Lisa approached him. She had been trying to expose the corrupt officers but couldn't make it happen. She saw that Creasy had the ability to do something about it. She offered to help. Creasy took her contact information. Rayburn was no longer involved in the operation, but he helped Creasy get weapons. Soon, Creasy met with an arms dealer. Pistols, grenades, and even rocket launchers were all prepared. His goal was clear: no one involved in the kidnapping would be spared. The first target was the dirty cop. Jorge. Creasy forced him to drive to a cliff. He tied him to the steering wheel and began interrogating him while slowly cutting off his fingers. He used a lighter to cauterize the wounds. Jorge couldn't hold out and revealed the organization's name. "We are La Hermandad, the Brotherhood." Creasy kept pressing. Jorge then gave up the contact name, The Voice. With the information in hand, Creasy wasted no time. He moved on immediately. Following the lead, Creasy acted that night. Quickly eliminated the butcher first, then he blinded Long Hair, creating pressure and control. Under interrogation, the man quickly talked. He handed over a bank card, saying the ransom had been transferred there. He also revealed a key detail: the ransom had been intercepted by Manzano, the so-called anti-kidnapping official. With that lead confirmed, Creasy moved forward. Only one major target remained: the old woman. She agreed to cooperate, offering a girl's life in exchange for her own. Creasy initially thought it was Pita, but soon realized it was another recently kidnapped girl. Once confirmed, Creasy detonated the entire location. The nightclub was destroyed in the explosion. After that, he contacted Lisa and handed over the rescued girl and the old woman for processing. Then he went after Manzano. Since Manzano was always surrounded by bodyguards, a direct attack wasn't possible. So Creasy chose an ambush along the route instead. He took out the outer guards one by one and used explosions to create chaos as he advanced. Soon, all of Manzano's men were eliminated. Creasy drove off with the target. When Manzano woke up, he was tied to the front of a vehicle. Creasy calmly explained a device. "This thing is already inside you." He activated a 5-minute countdown. Manzano completely broke down and confessed everything. He admitted he was the head of the organization and had stolen ransom money multiple times, but this time he only received half, 5 million. The other bag had already been swapped with fake cash. It was all paper. That meant a third party was involved, and the only person who could have done it was the lawyer who handled the transfer. With the full chain exposed, Creasy didn't hesitate. He said, "Forgiveness is between them and God. My job is to send them to him." Then he executed Manzano. Following the trail, he found the lawyer's house, but the man had already been killed. Creasy checked the accounts and found a transfer of 2.5 million. The investigation led him back to Pita's parents. The truth finally came out. Samuel had inherited not wealth, but massive gambling debt to pay it off. He and the lawyer planned the kidnapping. The goal was insurance money. The original plan was to split 10 million evenly, but Manzano intercepted half. The kidnappers ended up with nothing, and people died. In the end, they began killing witnesses. The lawyer had promised Pita would not be harmed, but everything spiraled out of control. Samuel later killed the lawyer. After learning the truth, the mother left. Creasy said nothing more. From Pita's diary, he took the bullet that had once misfired and gave it to Samuel. Meanwhile, Lisa worked with the FBI using bank records and tracked down another kidnapper named Daniel. Photos were printed, but that night, both of them were attacked. They were warned not to go public. Despite that, Lisa still released the story the next day and gave Creasy the address. Creasy moved immediately. He broke into the suspect's home. Inside, Daniel's wife was comforting a child. During the chaos, Creasy was shot in the chest by the suspect's brother. But he still continued the pursuit. He eventually captured the target and took him to a rooftop. He forced Daniel's wife to make a call. After the call connected, Daniel made a proposal. Pita was still alive. He offered an exchange: Pita for his family's lives and Creasy's life. Creasy accepted immediately. The exchange was set on a bridge. He first delivered Daniel's brother to Pita's mother and prepared her for what was coming. Then he went to the bridge alone. Already badly wounded, Pita was released. Creasy confirmed she was alive, and the exchange was completed. Pita ran to her mother, and the hostages were released. Creasy raised his hands and walked forward. They looked at each other. He was taken into the car. Not long after the vehicle drove off, Creasy collapsed from his injuries on the road. This is where the story ends. On the surface, it was a story about revenge, but at its core, it was about redemption. Creasy used the most extreme path to find a reason to keep living. When someone has already lost everything, is their choice still a choice? If justice cannot be reached through rules, would you take action yourself? If it were you, would you forgive or go all the way like he did?